Hey guys, Sam from Manfa's Makes and
Moose Mike.
So welcome back to all our returners and hi to any newbies. It's so great to have you here. Please do stick around a while, and if you like what you see, please give us a thumbie. And if you're wondering why we're a bit giggly, just a few seconds before clicking the on button, my eldest child decided to do a faux recording of Tile of the Week.
A reenactment.
Imitating myself and Mike, and it was fairly hilarious. Although at one point he was actually scared that I was actually recording. I can assure you I wasn't. Anyway, yeah, it would have been. So, try and get back into the seriousness. Well, not serious, it is all fun here, but I do need to give you some information. So if you are new here, Thursdays are
Tile of the Week Thursday,
and if you're not sure what Tile of the Week Thursday is, it is we got this book, or I got this book in Happy Mail last July. It is 100 Crochet Tiles, edited by Sarah Callard. Yep. I have to check every week. And I made a pledge while unboxing this book that I was going to make all 100 tiles, one a week, until it was done. Didn't realise that would take the best part of 2 years. Go Manfa! Should do a bit more mental maths from time to time. Anyway, it was never meant to be a crochet along, although organically it has become so. We have a lot of our fellow YouTubers and subscribers who have started to join along with us. They have joined in at various points along the journey. Some of them are doing catch-up tiles. Some of them are just going from the point they started through to the end. I will not list them because I always end up missing somebody and then I feel terrible. So if you'd like to know who else is joining us on this tile journey, then in the top of YouTube, type in hashtag Tile of the Week Thursday, and everyone who has used that hashtag will pop up and you will have a variety of videos to watch. And thank you to each and every one that is suffering this journey with us. And I say that with a smile on my face because although they are really irritating at points, and sometimes the last thing we want to be crocheting, we are endeavouring to complete the mission because you guys love it so much. It is still one of our most popular segments on this channel, and why stop a good thing, right? It would be sad for you guys and it would, you know, well, do damage to the channel, but also, what are we going to do on a Thursday otherwise? Just saying. So we this week are on tile number 40. It's another milestone tile. We are still nowhere near done, but it is another milestone along the way, which is really, really great. Now, if you watched last week's, and I will link the Tile of the Week Thursday playlist, you will see that Mike and I did not complete last week's tile. It was an absolute nightmare, and after watching everyone else's videos, I do believe that there were only 2 people to my knowledge to complete last week's tile. One is a subscriber who does not have content, but she does send me a picture of her tile every week, and I do post her tile picture every week on my community tab. So this week's tile of Josephine's will be on my community tab, so please do go and check out her fabulous work, and well done, Josephine. It was only you and one other that got through to the bitter end of the wagon wheel, and the other lady that completed it was the beautiful Elaine Brown, also known as Pudding. She showcased hers on her channel last week, so again, check her out, and if you don't know her, subscribe, throw some yarn in her window. You know, become a member of her family. She is an awesome lady. And Elaine, if you're watching, hey Pudding, how are you?
And for both of you who did finish, all power to you.
Yeah, definitely, because the majority of the rest of us threw in the towel.
Even the ones that started it.
Yes, I know, right? It's our segment and we didn't even complete it. That's a bit embarrassing, isn't it? Anyway, life is too short to struggle through something that is not bringing you any joy and, in some cases, great misery. Don't put yourself through it. It's not worth it. Find something you like doing better. Anyway, so this week is Tessellation, which should look something a little bit... Oh, left is right, Sam. A little bit like this. It is by Katie Moore. The last few have been by Katie Moore. And No offence, just in case any of the designers of these tiles watch, but Hattie Risdale had top place for the one that we didn't like the most. Katie Moore is right on your ankles. Both of you, fabulous work. I am not a designer. I cannot even begin to start or imagine how you do these works of art. But personally, you guys make it a bit too difficult, and yeah. So you're both up there for Mike and I. And guess what? Next week's is by Hattie Risdale. So anyway, Tessellation by Katie Moore. She asked you to pick 3 colours. She asked you to use a DK or lightweight 3 and a 4mm hook. We did that. We used our DK scraps from our scrap bin, and we both used our 4mm Clover Moor. Now, the burning question. Did we finish this week's tile? We are both going to reveal on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we did! So there is Mike's and there is mine. So what did I think about this tile? And then we'll get Mike's thoughts. Now, I can do both of the techniques I am about to talk about. Do I enjoy doing them? No. Do I understand why we do them? Yes. Now, the first one is standing stitches. Now, I can do them, but they are fiddly, they are finicky, but I know why we use them, because they look nicer than the chaining up as a faux stitch. Mike, what's your thoughts on standing stitches?
I can also do them, and I have done them. I don't like doing them.
No.
And I chose not to.
He chose not to on this tile because for Mike, it is just not worth the stress. He would rather do it his way, and it still worked out perfectly fine.
Now, standing singles, perfectly fine.
And I think it's because it's secured by a slip knot on your hook,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
But when you have to do the chain overs before you put them in, and then yarn overs,
Yeah.
and then put it in and pull it through, and then I cannot, for the life of me, get it back through the yarn overs.
And then even if he does, they kind of all slip out and splay, and they look a bit messy. So for Mike, he will join with a slip stitch, chain up, and go forward from there.
Yeah.
Because the beauty of crochet is you get to know how many chain ups you need to do for each different type of stitch. Mike has learnt that. Therefore, he can adjust a standing stitch to whatever amount of chains he needs to do for whatever stitch is called for. So again, we can both do them. Do we enjoy it? Not really. Is it a pain in the posterior? Most definitely. But it does give a neater finish. So I understand why designers prefer you to use them. And that's okay. Personal preference. The other thing that I'm going to talk about, and is pretty much the same as what we've already said about the standing stitch, is the invisible join when you finish a round. Again, I understand why designers ask you to use it, because it gives a neater, more polished, professional look at the end of a round, especially if you're going in a circle. Completely get it. Understand why it makes your project look that little bit more polished and professional. However, for me, it trips me up. And the way it trips me up is the way you do your invisible join. It makes it look like there's a stitch there when there isn't. And then Manfa thinks it's a stitch, puts an extra stitch there, and then her count isn't right. Which then means I have to waste even more time correcting my stitch count. So personally, I prefer the slip stitch join. Just a personal preference. I think we had this conversation while doing some of these tiles that asked for the invisible join, and we both said it's a faff, we'd rather not, it trips us up, but we understand the aesthetic of it and the reason behind it. Yes. But please stop it. Because it makes everything so much slower, in my opinion.
To be fair, that's my only quib of it. It makes things slower.
Yes.
I didn't count it as a stitch because I did that in the last tile that I actually completed, and I was like, why am I out on every bloody row? And then I realised...
I know, but I've been doing it a lot longer, and I should know better. However, when you finish a round, you do your invisible join, you snip off, you weave in the ends, because we weave in the ends after every row, because the last thing we want to do when we've completed it is to go back and do all the ends for all the rounds. We do it as we go, which some of you will say, well, you shouldn't do that, because if you make a mistake, it's going to make it harder to unravel, and you would be correct. However, if we got to the end and there was still all those ends on the back, we would just leave them. We're not even going to lie about it.
No.
And so you've snipped off your ends, you've weaved them in, you're now joining your next colour with your standing stitch in this case. But you don't always start at the point you left off, because in the weaving in and doing what you're doing, you might put it down and pick it up on the opposite side. So then Manfa's going around not remembering where her invisible join is, seeing it as a stitch, not as the invisible join. Now I could make that easier on myself and either marker my invisible join so I don't miss it, or I could always start where I joined and finished off.
Not always.
But not always, because sometimes the pattern will scooch us over to start in the corner and my invisible join's halfway through the tile. So it's just one of those things that Manfa has to get over, basically. So I think if any further tiles, and I'm just looking ahead... it doesn't say anything about invisible joins for the next one, which is great, but I did just give it the briefest of looks, so I might be wrong. The next time we are asked to use invisible joins, I think I'm going to have a stitch marker handy, and when I've fastened off, before I weave in my ends, I'm going to put a stitch marker in that invisible join, so I know that that is not a stitch, and I avoid it when I go around the next round. So, little pro tip there, if you're having the same issues with the invisible join, mark it with a stitch marker and then we should be a-okay. Again though, it's an extra step and an extra faff, but...
Which wouldn't normally be an issue if it was a project you want to do.
Yes.
Or if it's a project that you're going to showcase or put out to someone or gift
to someone. Yeah.
But when it's a tile that you're doing...
Nothing with. They all live in a bag. They all live in a dark, dingy
extraness.
bag. Well, it's not dingy bag, but they're all in a bag not knowing what they're going to become, because Manfa and Mike haven't decided what they're going to become. But
and for me, I'm just doing these to learn more.
Yes.
So
and you have
I'm not actually going to use them.
No, but you have said that the learning value of these tiles is invaluable.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely invaluable.
And if I was to ever put it into a project, all those styles and techniques into a project, I would use them.
Even stitches you haven't necessarily done before.
There's probably stitches I've never done before still.
Yeah.
I've never done mosaic yet. I know that's coming. I'm a little bit...
Apprehensive?
I'm not apprehensive, I'm just a little bit scared.
Apprehensive could be better. You say you're not scared of anything.
No, I'm not scared of anything, to be fair.
No.
But
they are slightly intimidating.
I'm not normally intimidated by anything either. I just look at it and go, I ain't going to be able to do that.
Honestly, if you can do singles and doubles, you can do mosaic. It's just where you put your singles and doubles that you are going to need to learn the technique of. Once you've got that down, I bet you'll be mosaic king.
I'm in that little grey area where I'm like,
Everything that mosaic asks you to do, you are capable of doing and have done multiple times. You just haven't created anything mosaic with that knowledge.
No.
So you will be fine, trust me. Anyway, so another little side note on this. I messed up on the colours, but in all honesty, I don't care. This glittery row here should also have been the bobble row, but Manfa messed up, grabbed the wrong yarn, and I just decided to go with it. So it's only got one glittery row, but never mind. All the rows are present and correct. They're just not necessarily the correct colours. And obviously the bobbles need pushing to the front a bit more. But I tried to go for shades of all the same colour group. These are all shades of an aquary minty green, although my camera is making them look a bit more bluey, grey, sage. They are much brighter. So I might take a picture of these this week to go along with Josephine's so that you can see the true colour, because Mike will hold his up.
And it's definitely not
And
a
it's
true
definitely
colour.
not true to colour for Mike either. They are much brighter.
So this
than
green
that.
is like a nuclear green.
It's a highlighter green.
Yeah.
It's the brightest green you're going to find.
I'm not sure if you can actually see it because the camera's not letting you, but in the cream there's flecks of red. And then it's like I don't know.
Turquoisey.
It's a little bit deeper the blue than that, but I don't know. What would you call that?
Well, it's called turquoise from Stylecraft, so.
Oh, okay.
Turquoise.
It's turquoise then.
It's Stylecraft's version of turquoise anyway. Let's leave it at that. Because we have also found that we see colours very, very differently. So it's up to your own interpretation. So yes, tile 40 done. A few points of note for that one. I don't think there was anything new that you learnt this time.
No.
It was just the fact that we managed to get through, do all 10 rounds, and happy days. Now, next week's tile 41 is by Hattie Risdale. It is called Echo. Oh. I am not doing very well on this time, am I? How am I going to show you without... Can't go that way. Let's cover Mike's face for a change. There we go. Well, you get the idea. It's a plain... It looks like a solid granny with some bobbles on it. Just going to word it to you like that. There are 8 rounds, so it's a smaller one. However, we will be carrying yarn, because how can you have a bobble of pink when everything else is cream? Now, we have done this technique before in a previous tile, so we should, in theory, be okay. But we'll let you know next week once we have done it. She is asking for just 2 colours. She used cotton DK or lightweight 3. We will be using acrylic. All of ours have been acrylic up till now. And she is again recommending a 4mm hook, so we are sorted because we now have a lot of Clover 4mm. Thank you very much, Josephine.
Yes, thank you.
And the special stitch in this one is the 5 treble bobble. So it's a bobble of 5 trebles.
It's going to be a big bobble.
It just means that they push through the tile, so it's got a bigger raise on the surface, that's all. And we will be carrying the pink along with the cream, or whatever colours we choose to use. So I am not predicting any real struggles, but we will of course let you know next week. Don't forget to check out the community tab, because Mike and I's tiles will be there to show you the true colours, and you can also see the wonderful Josephine's tile 40. She has done a stunning job again, and if you haven't already seen it, please do go back to Tuesday's video of this week where we unbox a fabulous box of joy from said Josephine.
Yes,
so
thank you very much.
Thank you very much again, Josephine. It is absolutely wonderful, but most of all, your friendship and support and kindness is what matters most. And your support of Tile of the Week is invaluable, because, like I said, you're one of the only ones that finished last week. So all power to you. There is our tessellation. We are going to be moving on to Echo. Please do come back tomorrow, because we will be filling you in on all of our crochet shenanigans, as it will be our regular crochet catch-up. And then Saturday we will be going live as usual, folks. So please come and join in the fun, have a chat and a giggle, let your hair down. And yeah, it's always a great time. There is daily content here on Manfa Makes. But until another day,
stay safe.
Be kind.
Look after one another.
Get some good quality time in, we loved ones.
Get some good quality tiles in.
Get some good quality crafting time in. We will see you in the next one.
All around the YouTube streets.
Bye, guys. Love
Bye.
ya. Cheerio.